Welcome to Real Talk Baseball. What's up, guys? I am Will Power. I'm here with Javi. What's up, Javi? How's it going?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Uh, you know, uh, same shit, different day. Just
Yeah, I hear
learned a
that.
little baseball this week. I'm glad that our Dodgers are still in first place
Yes,
and
sir.
holding it down, man. I believe they still have the best record in the league. Looks like Tony's gonna join us. Hey, what's up,
Hey,
Tony?
what's up, guys? Thanks for
Tone
waiting.
low.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Thanks for getting on.
Yeah. I'm gonna be eating lunch, so sorry. I just got
Lunch,
here.
man. It's 10:30 for us over here, man.
I know,
For
man. You
real.
guys, you guys ready for bed? I'm over here trying to party and
Yeah,
shit.
basically. Right before we started recording, Javi and I were just saying like how much sleep we haven't gotten in the last like
Man, it's been a
year.
minute. Fuck.
it's it's
I don't
tough,
think I
man.
could
It's
ever.
tough.
I
It's
don't
tough
think I could
having a
ever
job.
get,
It's tough being a dad, you know.
bro. I don't
But
think I
we
could
all
ever
do
get
it.
used
We
to the
all do
hours
it.
out
We
here.
get it done.
Honestly,
So,
I
You
don't think
guys
I
work
could.
what hours are you guys working right now?
oh, Javi got those bad hours. I don't think I could do that, man. That's
11
bad.
to 7,
11
11 to 7.
p.m. to 7
11
a.m.
p.m.,
That sucks.
7 a.m. Yeah.
Where
I
you
go in
at?
at 4 in the morning. So,
4 a.m.
yeah, 4 in the morning
Oh,
is
so
not
you gotta
that
get some
bad. I mean,
sleep
it's bad, but
earlier.
it's not going in at 11 at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
And then you still have the entire day too. Javi needs to like go to bed right after
I
Yeah,
gotta,
breakfast.
I gotta
because
drink that,
it's
that
morning, and then
gotta
all
drink
the
that legal
kids are at
crack.
school by the time you get off of work. So at least you can, if you wanted to, go home and take a nap, right?
Yeah, yeah, but everybody's up, so you don't really get the sense that urgency to go to sleep, you know. You're just up, you know, it's bright, it's beautiful outside, and
Yeah.
it's like
You need
my
those
you
room
know,
darkening curtains,
yeah, yeah,
or like the eye. What do you call them? The thing for the eyes, so it blocks out the light. My wife
oh
got
the
those. Dude, sometimes when I'm off the next day, I don't like going to sleep early. I like staying up a little bit. So
yep,
I'll
yep.
I'll just lay in my bed and watch TV, watch baseball. I have to have the volume on like 2 because my wife complains about the volume, you know. But at least she doesn't complain about the light because she got those glasses. All right,
Yeah.
let's get into the news. So first thing that I want to talk about, Arenado gets suspended for charging the mound or trying to charge the mound. I don't know if you guys watched the video. So the Mets have been hit by a pitch the most out of any professional team this season. There's been some speculation on reasons for it, but have you guys heard anything? What have you guys heard?
I mean, I just think that the Mets were kind of tired of getting hit by pitches. I think I read it was like 19 times already this season, and I think that that shit just pretty much boiled over, and they got tired of it.
Yeah, especially
You know?
when your star first baseman is getting hit in the head, right?
Yeah.
That
Yep.
was like the first or second game of the season that happened.
Yeah. I think this was kind of boiling over for a while, and they just got they just said fuck this. Like we ain't taking this shit. You know? I
So
don't blame them.
I've
I don't
actually
blame them.
I was watching MLB Network the other day, and Jake Peavy, former All Star, he was on the show, and they were talking about the new baseball that has emerged, partly through last year, and it's basically all they're seeing this year, and everyone is saying that the ball just feels different. It's not the same. I don't know if you guys have noticed also, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of throwing errors. So it's not
Hmm.
just these pitchers that are getting
Mm.
kind of wild. It's also these fielders that are trying to just get the ball to first base, and they just don't have the right grip on the ball to be able to throw it like they normally do. There's going to be some kind of adjustment that has to be made, whether it's MLB that adjusts the baseball or if it's the players that adjust the way that they're handling the ball. Maybe they need to put their fingers more on the seams to get more of a grip. Maybe they need to handle the rosin bag and put some sunscreen in their hands because they're not getting checked right
Yeah.
for the
Oh,
foreign
that's true.
substance. So
Yeah.
so players could do it, at least to kind of cut down on these throwing errors. We've seen a lot just a few days ago in the Dodger game. Max Muncy had a throwing error. Gavin Lux had a throwing error. Freddie Freeman had an error also, but that was kind of just the sun was in his eyes and it just kind of dropped out of his glove. But we've been seeing that a lot lately. And one of the things that they're saying is that the ball, that the leather on the outside of the ball, it's too slick. And a lot of these umpires, a lot of times when they get the balls, they'll grab some of their mud, like their special mud or whatever, and then they'll rub it all on the outside of the ball. So that way it takes away that shine. It takes away a little bit of the slickness to the ball. So
Yeah.
that way the pitcher can grip it a little better. But obviously it's not working very good. So they were trying to cut down on the home runs, which is why they came out with this new ball. And now we're having a bigger issue where pitchers just can't get a grip on the ball and it's just flying everywhere. Now, the pitcher that threw at Arenado, his reasoning was that he wasn't trying to throw at Arenado at all. He was trying to throw an inside pitch and it got a little wild.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't even that bad.
it wasn't that bad. He was
It
trying to
wasn't
do
even
just a high
close.
inside pitch. Wasn't trying to get a called strike. He was just trying to brush Arenado off the plate, which is a part of the game. It's part of baseball. That's what you do as a pitcher. It's a waste pitch, but it sets you up for the remaining pitches of the at bat. So that's basically what I've heard from the Jake Peavy and some other guys. I think it was Plesac on MLB Network that were talking about the grip of the baseball. So at least there's some kind of reasoning, to the reason why. I think Arenado really took exception to that because I didn't see an interview, but I did read a little bit about it. He wasn't really upset about, the ball's just kind of going wild. He said that if the pitcher knew that he was going to be wild, why are you throwing that far inside anyway? And honestly, I think it was just a reaction. Everyone gets heated in the moment, and things happen. So 2-game suspension. After trying to charge the mound, I guess that's kind of it's just what happens in baseball.
He's a hothead anyways.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Which is great. It's great for the game. I love seeing that. Right?
Well,
Like
I don't know, man. A lot of people could have got hurt. That was a big brawl.
Yeah, it was.
And the way they
did you see
yanked down.
Pete Alonso was mad.
He got tackled, right, by what is it? One of the coaches from the other team.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He got tackled.
He made a comment about like
Yeah,
if
he
I
was
wanted to put
acting
somebody in the hospital, I could. Much. I was like,
Tripping.
damn.
Yeah.
Well, he survived the fucking car crash, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
seriously. Tough ass dude.
And he went to spring training the next day, no?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he did. He was actually on his way to spring training the day that he got into that car accident, and then he showed up the next day and was fine. Well, supposedly he was fine. I don't know. He seems fine, though, the way he's been hitting the ball so hard. So speaking of suspensions, current Dodgers pitcher on a 2-year suspension. We just found that out today. I don't know, man. He's already appealed this and 2-year suspension. Now, we've had domestic violence suspensions in the past before. 2 years? 2 years, and he wasn't even convicted. This didn't even go to trial. It got dismissed. So,
well, supposedly
Aroldis Chapman had a 30-game suspension for domestic violence.
But he had a gun.
Osuna. Yeah, exactly. He had a gun.
And he shot it like 8 times.
Crazy,
exactly.
Bro.
That's even worse, dude. That's
and
even
he
worse
slapped her up, too.
Did. Exactly.
Dude.
And then you have Marcell Osuna. Similar situation, got a 20-game suspension,
Yo, he was trying to choke his wife, bro. Come on. Come on, man.
I mean, you got guns and knives and choking people out, and then you got Trevor Bauer that just
with actual arrests, by the way. Like some of
with
these
actual
people,
arrests,
yeah, they actually got arrested,
and nothing happened to Trevor Bauer in terms of the law, And there was even friends of that girl that came forward and was like, "Yeah, she did it on purpose. She's trying to get Trevor Bauer in trouble because she's friends with Tatis." It was like this whole like.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know about that? Yeah,
Nope.
so
Really here.
supposedly this girl and Tatis were kind of like a thing. Like she's already hooked up with Tatis a few times, and just by hearsay, Tatis kind of like told her like, "Hey, why don't you go over to Trevor Bauer and try to make this kind of a big
Wow.
deal." There's
The
text
plot
messages.
thickens.
There's a
That's a
lot of stuff that
conspiracy,
kind of went
huh?
going on. But
I
honestly,
could
Yeah.
get
man, like
into that.
this has Rob Manfred's name written all over it, dude.
Well,
There's
there was a
no
third accuser. Did you hear about that? So he got accused
about
today.
Bauer.
Yeah, there's a
Nah,
that's why that's why they did the 2 years because they had another witness or another person
all of a
who
sudden,
yeah and
they've had over a
but
year
today
to come forward, and then now all of a
now
sudden they try to
yeah
come back
when it
out.
first happened right when he's gonna I know that's what I'm saying, man. I don't know if it's like just MLB doing this what makes me think too like the MLB is gonna pick the wrong fight, like this seems more like retaliation. This seems more like like they're just doing it to stick it to him. But I also feel like they have to because a lot of eyes were on this particular player.
2 years though.
But see, it's because of the eyes it was getting and the whole cancel culture that a lot of people
Yeah,
don't believe in. Um,
Mm,
like I believe they
MLB is
had.
trying to be politically correct.
Yeah, I feel like they had to give
yeah.
him like a long extension. And during the appeal process, maybe it gets down to 30, 50, 100, or the remainder of the season, which is still bad because, like, like we just mentioned, they they already set the precedent with Chapman, with Urias, and other players, Osuna. You know what I mean? Like, oh, 10 games. That's because it wasn't that big of a like a deal.
It didn't blow up that big, but
Yeah.
because Trevor Bauer is all about social media, and
Yep.
he puts himself out there like that, he's more in the spotlight. So I get what you're saying, Tony, and
Yeah.
it makes a little bit of sense, but still, it's like they're doing this 2-year suspension to kind of just make an example out of Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and also
you're
to appease the people that want to see him, you know, suffer or but
Yeah.
as but or punished or what how people just want to see it. So I guess he appeased them and also kind of just like maybe like maybe to like moving forward it these type of situations whether it's accused or not, because it's not even I don't know there were no charges. I know he's not how do I
It's already
say?
ruined his reputation.
Yeah,
So
that's
people
crazy.
already have he has a stigma about him that's probably going to follow him for the rest of his life. We
He,
see that in the media every day right now with the other trial that's going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and
mm-hmm.
it's sad to see people like this, that have these amazing lives, and then it all gets ruined just because of one thing,
Yeah.
and whether it's their fault or not, it sucks to see that, as a fan of Johnny Depp, that I'm not going to be able to see him in Pirates of the Caribbean movies anymore because he already said he refuses to work for Disney. And then now I'm never going to be able to see Trevor Bauer in a Dodgers uniform again. Who knows if he's going to pitch? Is
Yeah,
he
that's
ever
what I
going
was
to
gonna
pitch again?
say. I don't.
He's already
In
in his
my,
30s.
yo, I mean, you look at the whole thing that happened with like Kaepernick. He took a knee, and now he doesn't even play football. You got this guy who supposedly was accused of what he did, and he might not even play baseball anymore. That sucks.
Yeah.
Former Cy Young winner. We only got a little nibble of him, man.
Like five
It
months.
sucks, bro.
How many?
Like you think about what he could have done if he was in the Dodgers rotation.
Yeah.
All these games that he's missed, man. It it sucks.
All
Yeah.
right.
It sucks.
So Trevor Bauer, he's not going to pitch this year, at least this year. He's going to appeal. He's it. if he
Because like, what if he
wins,
gets sued? What if like he's gonna sue
he's
if
gonna sue, but
if
it's
it's
gonna get
anything more
dragged
than
out.
like Aroldis Chapman, bro?
It's gonna get dragged
I'm
out,
gonna be
and
mad.
there's no way that he's gonna pitch this year, you know. So we can pretty much forget about seeing him in a Dodgers uniform because his deal was for 2 years, right? So last year and this year. So if he does pitch again, it's probably not going to be in a Dodgers uniform. I highly doubt that the Dodgers would want him back after he got all this bad publicity. You know,
Yeah.
some people say any publicity is good publicity, but for the Dodgers have a respect around them where they don't condone any of that bullshit. So
Yeah.
a lot of the players were even saying that, yeah, we don't want him in the clubhouse anymore. Like for him to be the type of guy that's going to do that, whether he was wrongfully accused or not, just being in that situation, it put a bad image, you know. So what are the Dodgers going to do now? You know, they lost a Cy Young winner in Trevor Bauer, and they probably had it in the back of their head, like maybe he'll come back this year, maybe he'll be back for the playoffs, and it looks like that's not really going to happen this year. So what does that do? Do you think there's any potential trades that could happen before the deadline where the Dodgers go after another pitcher, kind of like they did with Max Scherzer last year?
Who's up? Who's available?
Um,
I don't know.
Frankie Montas.
Oh
He
yeah.
he would
Mhm.
seem to be like the only one that's actually pretty decent that could be traded away. I mean, the A's basically traded away everyone else that they
Everybody.
had,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
true.
So why not get rid of the last actually good pitcher that they have?
Yeah, that is true.
I don't know. The Dodgers do have some depth. They did get rid of
And now they
Josiah
have
Gray.
money because
Yeah,
they don't
that's
have to
Yeah.
true.
pay
That's
Bauer.
true. Because now
Yeah.
that Bauer actually does have the legitimate suspension, that means that the Dodgers don't have to pay him anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
if the appeal doesn't go Bauer's way.
I think it would still be on hold though, right? Like because he is officially suspended right now.
Yeah,
So
but the appeal, if it gets appealed and he's only suspended for like 100 games, 30 games, that's like half. So they still have to pay that fool
for
for
this
the
year,
remainder. For the remainder, because he's only gonna get a suspension. I don't think it. I think they're gonna shoot it down to like 100 games or something like that, and then
man,
he has to.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess,
but I
right?
feel,
Because
but like
100
it
games
doesn't
for a
happen.
starting pitcher when you go every 5 games, that's 25,
I don't know,
Mm,
right?
more or
but
less.
still though,
Yeah.
like Aroldis Chapman didn't go 25 games, like actual games. They went days.
Right. Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
makes
It's
sense.
weird. Who
Yeah,
knows what's gonna
Very
happen,
weird.
man?
I don't know. We'll see. All right, moving on to the next thing. John Means. John Means is having Tommy
Yeah.
John surgery, so he is done at least for the next year. And when we see him again next year, when he comes back, he's going to have an innings limit. He's not really going to be fantasy relevant. So that kind of sucks for any John Means owners this season. You can go ahead and drop him. I wouldn't even worry about picking him up next year. If you do hear some buzz about him, maybe he's going to be in the bullpen. Throwing a few innings. If you're in a points league, that might help. As in deeper leagues, but anything like 12 teams or lower, I don't think that John Means should actually be rostered in any of those leagues.
For next year, yeah.
And next one, big hit for the Kansas City Royals. So Adalberto Mondesi, who's on the IL basically every single season, looking really good this year. I mean, he's not really hitting the ball that well, but he's reached base 7 times and has 5 stolen bases. So that's a pretty good percentage of stolen bases. Eventually when he did get on base, that he had potential of getting 70, 80 stolen bases every season, and now torn ACL, so he's done for the season.
Man.
This guy is young enough where I could be like, man, he could come back next year, he could be fine. But this guy is the most injury prone player I have ever seen in my life.
The glass man.
Yeah, seriously. What's that movie? The Unbreakable.
Breakable goal.
Seen
Yep.
that? Oh, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson right there 50 years earlier. Yeah, that
That's a good
sucks, guys.
reference.
But that's basically all I have for the notes. So actually one more huge thing that happened was Ronald Acuna's back. Now, a lot of
Oh,
people
yep.
didn't expect him back so early, but yeah, he's back. He hasn't had the best start, but you know what? This guy stole 2 bases already.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
If he stole 2 bases, that means that his ACL is completely fine.
Yeah.
You know, that I researched him a little bit today. He's had 5 at bats so far, only had 1 hit. His 1 hit was just a little blooper to right field. Right over the second baseman's head. His exit velocity on that was 88 miles an hour, and that's not good, but at least we see that he's running. And I
It's
think
just
once he gets
rust.
his timing down, he's
Yeah.
going to be that elite player that we've all hoped for coming back strong. And we're hoping the same thing for Tatis, right? When he comes back in 2.5 months or so. I
Yeah.
think both of those guys are very comparable, Tatis and
Not really,
Acuna.
but
Why do you say that?
like he can stay in the IL. That's fine.
Oh, Tatis. Oh, you just say that as a Dodgers
Yeah.
fan.
Well, the
Of
Braves
course,
too.
I have to.
Yeah.
You know who has both
Yeah.
of them in our league? This guy Nappy Dugout. Have you guys
Yeah,
seen
he
his team?
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
pretty stacked,
he has
bro.
Mookie Betts too.
Mookie Betts,
Mhm.
Tatis. He has Acuna. He's got Albies, and I
Albies.
think he has
Yeah.
decent pitching too.
Yeah, he works with me, and he's really a fantasy football guy. And I'm
Mm.
surprised, like, he actually drafted this well, man. He must have did his homework before the draft, because I think that he said that this is his second fantasy baseball season that he's done. The last one that he did was like 5 years ago. So kudos to him. We'll see
Yeah,
how it goes for the rest of the season. I tried to get Mookie Betts from him. I tried to buy low. I offered him was it Tyler O'Neill, I think, and he's like, "Come on, man, I'm not
yeah,
dumb."
yeah. That's
Yeah,
Hey, you never know. You never know.
I was trying to yank
You try to take advantage
Albies
of the
from
new
him.
guys.
I was trying to yank Albies from him. He wasn't budging
yeah,
because he's like, Acuna's coming back, so all right, you know what you're talking about then.
yeah, yeah. They're doing awesome. His team's good. Yep,
All
yep,
right.
yep. How you guys doing on your fantasy team? You guys up? You guys down?
This week I'm looking
Mm.
pretty good, but I'm in my
I'll be
categories that I
3-0.
damn.
I'll
Shut it
be
already.
3-0. Yeah.
Sorry,
Hey,
Jasper.
your team is freaking solid right now, but we'll
So
see what
far,
happens once the weather
yeah,
warms up and everyone else's players get hot too.
yeah.
Yeah, in my keeper league, it's a little different because it's categories and you don't win just the week. You actually count your total categories that you've won, and that goes towards the end of the season. Whoever has the most categories won for the whole season is in first place. It doesn't necessarily go by who won
Like
the most weeks.
playoffs. You guys don't have playoffs. It's
No,
just season points.
we will have playoffs, but you count the categories that you win each week. So if I win 5 categories this week and the other guy wins 6, then I have 5 points going into the next week. And then if I win 8 categories the following week and then the other guy wins 3, then I have 13 points. So it counts
Oh, so
your
it just
total
adds up.
categories that you've won for the whole season rather than just one win per week. So it's a little bit different different format, different strategy. You really have to look for certain things. You have to look for the guy that's going to score a lot of runs, the guy that's going to steal a lot of bases. One of the categories is OPS. Another category is K per 9. So you got to kind of be wary about that. You can't just go for a guy that's that's potentially going to have, a really good season, you have to think about, well, what's their strikeout rate? How many walks do they give
Right.
up? How many hits do they give up? Is he going to mess me up in whip? Those are the things that you kind of have to worry about. So guys like Julio Urias, that's very valuable in a points league. He's not as valuable in this league because he's not really a strikeout pitcher. He'll have maybe 8 point something K per nine. You really want to try to go for those guys that are more like 12 and 13. Guys like
Hmm.
Trevor Bauer that I could have had. He actually just got dropped today, so everyone's dropping that guy, even in a keeper league. You know,
Yeah, I haven't dropped them yet. I think
well,
I'm
we
gonna
dropped
hold
him in
on.
Holding on for
ESPN.
hope.
I know, and I'm like, I kind of want to just wait to see what happens, but like this third woman, kind of also makes me want to just be like, it's fucking over, a third woman.
Yeah,
And you know what? Just real quick, like, why did she go to MLB and not to the police?
yeah.
You know,
Mm.
mother effers. Oh well,
Mother.
whatever. On to the next one. Just something to think about.
Okay.
Conspiracies. Remember how?
All right, so I asked you guys before the show to give me one player that has just kind of stuck out in your head, whether it's a hitter or a pitcher, if it's a stud that's slumping right now, or if it's a guy that just it's breaking out like crazy right now.
Yeah.
Any
Well,
player that just kind of stands out to you. Javi, why don't you go first? Give me your player that stands out to you.
All right. I'm gonna go with Manoa from the Blue Jays.
Alec Manoa.
He's 4-0, 144 ERA, 25 Ks, 7 walks in 25 innings pitched. This guy is a beast right now, man. And I'm not being biased, I have him on my squad, of course. But the guy's been pitching lights out, man. And I think he has 2 starts coming up.
Yeah, he's
So
versus the
and
Yankees and
it's
then
li-
at Cleveland.
and I'm hey, he could easily go 6-0. He could easily go 6-0.
Yeah,
Because
that is
he's
true.
playing at home against the Yankees, and then he's got Cleveland, which is, they're not that great. So, I don't know. Just his stuff looks crazy good. He's been very consistent,
And he has
and I mean,
a really good
and the
lineup
offense,
behind him.
yeah, the offense behind him, man. I mean, you got to give them props too. So that's my
yeah.
pick, man.
That's how you
That
get
guy's
your
been lights
wins,
out.
man. You
Yep.
have to be able to rely on your offense to
Yes,
score
sir.
some runs for your pitcher to actually get the win. You could
Yep.
go 9 scoreless. Remember when Rich Hill had that no-hitter going, and he already went past the ninth inning. He started the 10th inning, but the Dodgers hadn't scored at all. So he had a no hitter going, and then he ends up giving up a hit. And then Dave Roberts was like, "All right, might as well just go ahead and take you out now." And then the Dodgers ended up losing that game. So
Yeah.
the Dodgers are a great squad. They score a lot of runs, but you really need that consistency when you're a starting pitcher. You need that you need your backup, and
Yep.
Manoa
Definitely.
definitely has that backup. So
Yep.
I like to see I like to see him like this because I was actually really high on him last year. I got him in a couple leagues last year. I think we actually had him in the podcast league last year, and he was good, but he just didn't play enough. He was up
Yeah.
and down, but it really looks like he's a fixture in the rotation now. So, yeah, I really like Alec Manoa. Tony,
Yep.
what about you? Any standout player to you?
Yeah, man. I kind of regret it, like, but I still feel good about it. Kyle Wright from the Braves.
Mm.
I picked him up from the waiver wires, and on his second day or his second game, I was just like, you know what? Let me just sell as high as I can and get what I can for this guy. And right now he's tearing it up, man. So little fantasy regret, but at the same time, just like, it's a long season. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, he can keep it up. But who knows what's gonna happen? But he stands out the most to me. He's 3-0. He's had 4 games, pitched for 24, and each game I think he's had like 8 or 9 strikeouts per game. This last game, I think he had 11.
Damn.
Yeah, he's been
Yeah,
a
his K per
stud.
9 is 12.8. That's really freaking good.
He's a stud, bro. And I'm just like, I had him, you know. But he's ranked number 7 overall in our league.
Oh
So
shit.
he's got 101 points.
The thing that scares me with Kyle Wright, and you offered him to me in a trade, and I looked at his minor league numbers, I looked at his major league numbers since he came up, and I wasn't impressed, and that's a gamble that I really wasn't
Yeah.
really into. Last year he only pitched 6 innings. Did really bad. Had a 9.95
Yeah.
ERA. The year before that, he had 38 innings. This is all major leagues in Atlanta. 38 innings with a 5.21 ERA, 24 innings with an 8.69 ERA, and then 6 innings with a 4.50 ERA. So the track record just hasn't been there. But what I'm hearing now is that he's utilizing his slider a lot more. He has a different grip on his slider now,
Yeah.
so it's moving a little bit differently.
His
His
angle
pitch
too.
mix, is very different because he's using that slider a lot more. So it kind of seems like Kyle Wright might actually be the real deal. So you might have missed out on that, Tony. But
Yeah.
what did you get in return?
I got Liam Hendrix, who's currently has like a back spasm.
Yeah,
So,
he's a
but
little bit older. He's like
yeah, but
33, I
I
believe.
mean, I sometimes with fantasy baseball, like you gotta make moves, man. And
Yeah.
you know, luckily for him, he's going off right now, and hopefully he continues. And hopefully my
Who'd
guy
you trade him
starts
to?
doing to the Dark
Walter.
Knight. Yeah, Walter.
Mm,
It was
Yeah.
Kyle Wright and Carrasco, I think.
No, Kyle Wright and Granke.
Oh, that's right.
Kyle Wright and Granke for Liam Hendricks, who went in the 5th or 6th round, something like that. He's ranked like, see, like I feel like if he would have been, because what's his name? Hater's got like 70 something points. So I feel like if Hendricks was at least healthy right now, he probably would have got me like 60
Well,
points.
the White
And
Sox are also not hitting right now.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
once the White Sox start hitting and start winning some
They
games,
got a lot of
then
injuries,
he can
man.
actually get some saves. Right, exactly. Way too many injuries.
Yeah.
It's like the whole squad is
Way.
injured except for Abreu and Tim
That
Anderson.
list, that's a long list, man. That is a long list. Shit.
yeah. So, do you have a player that sticks out, Will?
Yeah, the guy that I wanted to talk about, I've been trying to trade for a first baseman for weeks now. Now, I actually just got Ketel Marte, so I was able to slide LeMahieu into my first base spot, so I'm good for now. One guy that I think that I possibly missed out on, even if it's just for short term, is Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer is currently batting .415 with a 467
Told you,
OBP,
Carlos.
a 588 slug. His OPS is 1072. If you have an OPS over 1,000, you are elite right now. Now, one of the
Can
reasons
he keep it
why
up?
I didn't really jump on him is because I had so many good players in my lineup that I was just like, I can't drop this guy. Eventually, he's going to get hot, and then I'm stuck with Hosmer, who's going to end this hot streak. Now he's batting .415, which I previously said his expecting batting average is .331. So he's outperforming his expected numbers. His slug is .582, expected slug is .495. So even his expected numbers are still really good, but it just kind of
Yeah.
scares me a little bit. All this extra production that he's getting. His barrel percentage 5.5. He's not even putting like good wood on the ball. Like MLB average is a 6.6. So his barrel percentage is actually less than MLB average right now. I feel
You
like
need
his
luck,
batting
man.
average is just so high because he's just hitting it in the right spots, and it might not even be him that's doing it. Maybe he's late or maybe he's early on a pitch, and it happens to be hit oppo or he's pulling it. It's not like Freddie Freeman that he goes oppo on purpose. The
Yeah.
last time that we saw a good version of Eric Hosmer was in 2015 when the Royals won the World Series. Now, if I haven't seen that version of Eric Hosmer in 7 years, what makes me believe that this is the real deal? I kind of wish I picked him up just to kind of ride this hot streak, but I really don't think that this hot streak is going to last for that long, especially because he has a 20% whiff rate, which is not that bad. He's not swinging and missing on a lot of pitches. MLB average is 24.6, but his fly ball rate, which is what scares me a lot, is a 5.5%. The league average is 22.7. If you're only hitting 5.5% of your balls in the air, you're not going to get a lot of home runs. You're not going to get a lot of doubles. Most of his hits are singles. They're grounders through. He has a 58% ground ball.
6 doubles, 2 home runs,
6 doubles out of 27 hits. I mean, that's good. 6 doubles is still really good, but I mean, those 6 hits are probably the ones where he actually did get the wood on the bat or wood on the ball. It's part of that 5.5%. The rest of the hits, I feel like he's just getting lucky a lot. So,
wow. I think it's the extra motivation he got from the Padres
trading for Luke Voigt. Yeah, I have the same. I
think the motivation is there.
It's like the same thing, like when you have a player that's coming up on free agency and they feel like they have something that they need to play for. Most of these guys, when they're coming up on free agency, they just get in that zone and they're like, all right,
time to get paid.
Exactly. I need to get $30 million a year, which is exactly what Hosmer did in 2015 because he became a free agent after that season.
Yeah.
So 2015, he had not really an MVP season, but definitely an elite season, which got him that really long contract from the Padres. It's not that much money in terms of how long he got, but anytime you can get a 10-year contract or close to it, that's great in Major League Baseball. That's what you strive for. You want that long contract. You want to sign with the team that you're going to be with for the rest of your career.
Yeah, well, I don't see. Well, he might go back to the Royals.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, I think San Diego still has like 2 years with him, like 2 more years on top of this.
Felix just joined. What's up, Felix? How's it going, man?
What's up, man?
So yeah, that was our standout players. Felix just said Javi. Mets no hitter.
Mets no hitter. Yeah, I seen that going on right now.
Who was pitching today?
I think it was like a mix of pitchers.
Oh, so it wasn't just one pitcher that is the game already over? I haven't even really been paying attention. I've been so busy today.
Hold on.
All right. Well, while you're looking that up.
Oh, it's just finished. 5 Mets pitchers combined to no hit.
He's saying
so it was McGill. 5 pitchers.
5 pitchers total, no hit. Who did they face?
Cincinnati?
No, Philadelphia.
Oh shit! No way.
Yeah. Against the Phillies?
Wow.
Damn.
Wow. Well, that sucks for all our homies over here, right, Javi?
Man, haters. Every time I go
thank God we're Dodger fans, man.
I'm wearing my Dodger gear, and they just look at me.
We do need to end the show a little bit early today. I have something that I have to take care of in about 20 minutes from now. So the last thing that I do want to do before we sign off is I want to go over the 2-start pitchers for next week. And, a lot of these guys are must start. I'm going to just go over the list of the must start pitchers, in my opinion, that you really don't want to sit because they've either been on a hot streak, and just being studs, or they just have a track record where they just deserve to be started in all formats, no matter what. Joe Ryan at Baltimore versus Oakland. I know you love that guy, Javi. Pablo Lopez versus Arizona and at San Diego. Alek Manoah versus the Yankees and at Cleveland. Dylan Cease versus the Angels and at Boston. Trevor Rogers versus Arizona and at San Diego. Mackenzie Gore, that's my boy right there, at Cleveland and versus Miami. Chris Bassett versus Atlanta and at Philadelphia. Zach Gallen, another guy that I was really high on last year, and he was crap. And then all of a sudden, he wants to play like an all-star right now. So Zach Gallen at Miami and versus Colorado. Patrick Sandoval at the White Sox and versus Washington. So those top 9 right there, those are the guys that are pretty much universally owned everywhere. Those are the guys that you definitely don't want to sit, at least in my opinion. If you guys have any other opinions, you can go ahead and shout them out right now. Felix says, Tony, you're looking fancy with that haircut.
Oh, thank you, baby.
I'm kind of jealous, man. I don't know if anyone's ever seen me like this, but
I wait. Yes.
I'm bald as a baby's butt up there,
Yeah.
I got all this though. I got all this.
Yeah, not me. I just like missing a whole bunch. I would just probably say stay away from maybe like a few team players like Eric Fetty. I know he's like streamed a lot.
Well,
I
but
would
in
probably say,
those top 9 that I just said, were there any that you would maybe sit?
from those top 9s, nah, man. Those are like you just start them.
So those are must start guys.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I would probably say
Carlos Carrasco, Ranger Suarez, and Charlie Morton are also kind of on my list of must start guys just because of their track record and not really what they've been doing this season. Carlos Carrasco has probably been the most like standout out of those 3 guys, but because I really believe in Ranger Suarez's pedigree, I think I would start him no matter what, especially because he's versus the Texas and versus the Mets, even though the Mets just apparently just got a no-hitter. I'd still just start him anyway. And then Charlie Morton's track record is just so good that eventually when he clicks, he'll be on. I really believe that. I don't think that he's going to be the older guy that he's starting to decline now. I don't think that this is the year for it. Maybe he'll start to decline a little bit, but maybe Charlie Morton is still kind of feeling some pain from the breaking his leg in the World Series last year. Who knows? Maybe he just needs a little warmer weather to kind of ease his bones. I don't know. All right, so Drew Rasmussen at Oakland at Seattle, Jordan Montgomery at Toronto versus Texas, Steven Matz versus Kansas City and at San Francisco. Any one of those guys kind of stand out to you?
Rasmussen, just because
that's what I was going to say.
He turned the corner. I think it was his changeup or something like that. I think he's just started using some other pitch because in the beginning of the season, we have him in our World Podcast League, and I was ready to just give up on him. I was like, man, screw this guy, because we found so many good players on the waiver wire for relief pitchers, and that's where mainly we're using them. But this last outing with him, I don't remember exactly if he had like 8 or 9 strikeouts, but he did really well. Really well. When it went, I think 6 or 7 innings, I forget, but he went deep into the game.
And that's really strange because last year he was utilized just as a reliever. I don't think he even had starting pitcher eligibility. And this year you can actually use him as a starting pitcher and relief pitcher. So if you're in a points league and Drew Rasmussen is available, I would definitely recommend going and getting him. You can slot him in your RP slot rather than just picking up some bum reliever that's going to get you 9 points every week.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
All right, so we all like Drew Rasmussen. Jordan Montgomery at Toronto. I hate that matchup. That's a really bad matchup. Versus Texas, I still don't trust Jordan Montgomery. In a points league, yes. In a categories league, no. Steven Matz. I do really like Steven Matz. I had him in a league. I dropped him. I should have held him a little bit, but I wanted to play the waiver wire and pick up someone else. So versus Kansas City, very good matchup. And then at San Francisco, that's going to be the hard one. San Francisco, I believe, has the second best record in the league right now, right behind the Dodgers. So That's not a very good matchup. I would definitely start him versus KC, but I would probably sit him versus San Francisco.
See, a
Yeah,
lot of these guys that have two starts, like I noticed that their schedules, there's a lot of them have 1 weak matchup and one tough matchup. A lot
yes,
of these
a
Yeah.
guys
lot of
do.
them
So
do.
Well,
it
I
was really difficult to pick,
One guy that
two
we talked
really
about
good
earlier,
two-start
Zach
pitchers.
Greinke, has at St. Louis and at Baltimore a bad matchup and then a good
A
matchup.
good
Dakota
matchup,
Hudson
exactly.
at Kansas City and at San
well look at
Francisco.
Bailey Ober. He's with Bailey Ober with the Twins, or is that how you say it? Or
Yeah,
Uber?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going up against the Orioles and the A's. Those are two good matchups. Really, those are
um,
the best ones.
I thought I saw him day to day for some reason.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I saw
I
him.
don't
He was
think that
injured.
he's going to be able to make his start next
I
week.
think he's day to
Who?
day.
Well,
See,
who
the
has
only
them?
other pitcher that I saw that has kind of like weak matchups is German Marquez, and
Mm,
that's
I
Washington
don't
and
trust that guy,
Arizona.
man.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. I'm only going based off of the matchup. The pitcher itself, I mean, his stats are crap.
Yeah,
If you look at it, their stats are crap. But the matchups are there. So if he could take advantage of the matchups, you know, who knows? He has good stuff, but
yeah.
he
And
hasn't really
versus
been
Washington
consistent.
and at Arizona, those are really good matchups. If I was desperate and I needed a pitcher now, I
Yeah.
might be willing to pick up German Marquez. I don't know because Washington has actually been hitting pretty decent, and then Arizona's pitching has been decent too. So
Yeah.
What about
that
what about our boy or my boy Michael Waka? He's on the
Michael
list.
Waka, that honestly, I think
Waka.
that I have him as a sleeper for next week. He is barely owned. That was actually going to be my pick for the 2-star pitcher for next week. Versus the Angels and versus the White Sox. Now the
Yeah, not
Angels
good
have been
matchups.
hitting, and
Yeah.
that they do really well against pitchers that have stuff like Michael Waka. But if I had to pick anyone from like this bottom list, I would definitely pick him. The other matchups just look so bad at
Mm.
Houston, at Tampa. Versus San Diego versus Toronto. And then he has the Angels and the White Sox. And like we said earlier, the White Sox are just not hitting right now. They
Yeah.
don't have anybody. So when you're only going to be facing Abreu and Tim Anderson in a lineup that's basically filled with, sorry, Jasper, trash.
Jasper's over there.
When you're in a desperate situation, desperate times call for desperate measures, and
Michael Waka.
I might give Michael Waka a look, see,
Well,
hopefully
I
I
already grabbed
won't.
him.
Well, I
Waka?
got 2 other leagues.
Yeah,
Well,
I grabbed him
one
in
other
our
league.
league. I was like, you know what? Screw it.
Yeah, I do
Term-
like that one. All right. Anything else you guys want to go over before we sign off? I know it's a short episode, but it is kind of late, and I got to go pick up my kid from my birthday party. So,
yeah,
I'll be 3-0
um,
this weekend. This week, guys. 3-0.
man, I'm really
he's all
hoping
like,
I'm
yeah,
really hoping I'm
actually,
at least 1 and
Sorry,
2. I
sorry,
think I got
Jasper.
it this week.
yeah. Well, hopefully, dude, Nappy Dugout or whatever the heck his name is. That guy's team is so sneaky.
That's funny.
Like he just stays there. Like whatever.
We'll
We'll
see
see
how
what
it
happens
plays
on the
out.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. This has been Real Talk Baseball with Willpower, Javi, and Tony Snap, and we will see you guys next week.